So after that, we got Kevin Owens and Cesaro in a match where I feel like both guys need wins. And I mean, it's not the most, the biggest match in the entire card. We've got 4 other matches to preview after this one. But it's a match where it's difficult to predict because both guys need wins right now, which is not a bad thing because they're both great and the fans love both these guys, and I'm sure they're going to get monster reactions in Brooklyn. But it's just so hard to predict because either guy could come out victorious. So, Michael, start with you on this one. Who do you got, Kevin Owens or Cesaro?
Like I mentioned before about Owens, I feel like, keep going back to the Cena killing momentum thing. But,
yeah, it always goes back to that, yeah.
Yeah, ever since his feud with Cena, I think he came in great matches. He's a real good talent. I think he'll be a top heel for years, but I think that he needs to get some momentum back, and I don't think that WWE, Vince McMahon, I don't think they're 100% sold on Cesaro yet. He has been getting a nice little push. I like to see him keep getting a nice little push. I didn't see the match, but I read that last night he had a really bad botch, apparently. So obviously that's not going to go too well in backstage. I think Owens will go over just so he can establish a little bit more credibility. I wouldn't mind the feud continuing after this, and Cesaro getting moved back at some point. But I'm going to go with Owens just because I think he's got the brighter future. I think that he's got more support backstage, and if he needs a little bit more, he needs more momentum. Like I said, he skipped a little bit since the Cena feud. But I'm going to go. It's like you said, it can go either way. Both guys need to win. So it'll be interesting to see how they book it. Both guys do need to win, but I'm going to go with Owens.
And you said that the officials aren't sold on Cesaro 100%. I do agree with that, absolutely. But I think the same can be said for Owens too, because he started out really, really well, and it's not like he's died off, but he got that huge clean win in Elimination Chamber back in May. And then he lost to Money in the Bank, which was fine, but then they have him lose the third and final match, which I thought he should have won, but I digress. But they also had him tap out, and they have not protected him as much since then. He's just kind of become, just another guy in the roster,
I thought for sure that would have been especially because he lost the NXT title a couple weeks before that.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to beat Cena, and I thought he would have been a great U.S. champion. That would be a great, basically transition for him to go from NXT champion and then win the U.S. title. I thought they missed the opportunity there, but you never know what the bookers and Vince and the officials and stuff are thinking. But I agree with you. I think there was a miss, especially him tapping out.
That too.
Third. Go on for 10 minutes about that. That was ridiculous. But it's an interesting point you make. I agree with you. So Cesaro's, not really like a top guy yet, and I think it's the same with Owens.
I feel like, and we'll get to Rollins and Cena in a little bit, but that's a match that, although it's a huge get for the SummerSlam card, first time ever in a winner-take-all U.S. champion versus WWE champion match, but you could have easily done that match just for the WWE title, with Cena just saying, I want my 16th World Championship and tie Ric Flair's record, like he said on Raw last night. That's all you really have to do. I mean, there's really not been much focus on the United States Championship. And then you could have given the U.S. title to this match, Kevin Owens Cesaro, making more meaningful. I think the match has been well built. Both guys have gotten mic time. I'm sure the match itself is going to steal the show from an in-ring standpoint. But I think the U.S. title could really add to it. If Kevin Owens had won at Battleground and he'd be going on long reign before Sami Zayn comes back and he beats him for the belt, that's fantasy booking. But still, I feel like that could have been a way they could have gone. But I digress. In this scenario, I've got Kevin Owens. I think Cesaro has gotten the momentum, more often than not in the last couple of weeks. And Kevin Owens, I don't think has won. I think he won on SmackDown a few weeks ago, or maybe last week. But other than that, though, he's not won like a match on Raw or like a televised match in like 2 months, which is ridiculous. So he's got to win that match. I got to win this match on Sunday via dirty means, and obviously the feud continues beyond this point. So Arden, who do you got going over, Kevin Owens or Cesaro?
It has to be Kevin Owens here, man. With all they've done to him, building him up in NXT, making him champion, and coming in here, working with John Cena as NXT champion, making him beat John Cena. You're going backwards to let Cesaro beat him. I mean, they tried with Cesaro, man. I mean, and I hate that I'm saying that because I love Cesaro. He really should be up there, man, as a guy who should be turning into a top guy. But truth of the matter is, that time is basically come and gone. Like, you know, they made him a tag team guy. He's by himself, of course, because of Tyson Kidd's injury. Hopefully Tyson Kidd comes back very soon. But you got to make Kevin Owens win. Those two could put on a great match, by the way. Cesaro has had great matches. Owens, of course, we've talked about it, has had great matches. But at the end of the day, Kevin Owens has to win this match in order for him to really get back on the climb. Because, honestly, this is what he said in terms of, I hate the fact that anybody that has battled with John Cena, suddenly their momentum has suddenly crashed. And it's like, why? It's like, back when I first started watching wrestling, you can have guys battle with anybody for a few months, win or lose, and they'll be fine. Or actually, they'll be better than ever. You have Rusev battle with John Cena. Suddenly, Rusev, we're talking about what to do with Rusev.
Yep.
Kevin Owens came in red hot. Suddenly, we're talking about what to do with Kevin Owens. His booking has been atrocious at times. But just to get back on topic, Kevin Owens has to win. You know, he needs to win. Those two have put on a good match, but he needs to win.
Yeah, we could go on. We could have a whole show about the whole John Cena thing. I totally agree with you, Arden. That, and it's not John Cena's fault. It's just the way.
Exactly, it's not.
And
Yeah.
And it's getting absurd that the way they book him is like, you know, oh, Kevin Owens beat him in his first match ever. Now Cena needs to get his win back. John Cena doesn't need to get his win back. John Cena doesn't need wins. Like, John Cena's going to still be a superhero in the eyes of all his, 10-year-old fans. He could lose for, 2 straight months, and he's not going to lose any credibility at all. But Bray Wyatt got, after the Cena feud, went downhill. Rusev, after the Cena feud, went downhill. Owens, after his feud, downhill. And it's real frustrating. It's not Cena's fault by any means. Just the way they booked him, it's absurd.